And in the spirit of water communion, I found this reading, which is actually, it was written by somebody, a Unitarian Universalist who is a religious educator. I'm kind of, partial to religious educators and educators in general. And so what this reading is, it's going to sound just a little different. It's meant for you to imagine what it would be like if you were writing a letter to a body of water. It is by, I didn't write her name on here. Oh, Gretchen Henderson. My eyes are still working. Dear body of water. To write a love letter to you is like catching waves. Your waters slip through my grasp. Even in stillness you move, evaporating into the atmosphere. In this closed basin with no outlets to seas, rain unsettles sky. Lessening snow melts down rivers to your saline body. Fewer birds flock to marshes and habitable shores and islands, some fossilizing into fragments of feather and bone. Microbial life swims finless, luminous and immune to the burning sun. Time is not a river here, trapped as temperatures rise. As your shores retreat, my sea inside melts into watering eyes. The human body is mostly water. In fact, the planet is mostly water. We are all bodies of water. Rivers and oceans, aquifers and bays, streams and tides. Now, what letter will you write? Dear bodies of water, dear you and me, do we misperceive our once and future interrelation? What happens if we turn fear to care, lost and found, grieving into deeper love? Wake our hearts with your letter. In the palms of our hands, we wash over a few words to share. So here you go. Here's your beginning. Dear body of water. When I first came here, I had never actually heard of water communion. And I remember asking Kelly when she had mentioned it, what is that? Could you help me? And then I went home and Googled and found out a lot of information. And I find it a time that is especially meaningful to me now. No, I don't like to hear myself. Are we good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Well, I love the affirmation. It's especially meaningful to me now more than ever because one of the things that we struggle with on our farm is the quality of the water coming from our aquifer, which is polluted by contaminants from farming, which is so ironic to me because we're farming to raise food, to feed the people, but we, and I say collectively, we in the world of farming, a lot of us don't realize what we're doing affects the very essence of life, which is water. And so we have to have, and I didn't give any tours of my house yesterday because I was so busy out on the farm, but I would love to have shown people this sophisticated water clarifying system that we have to have in order to actually drink the water that comes out of the ground. In fact, that's why we have water hoses running throughout the farm for the animals, because I don't want to give them water from the aquifer directly either, because it's got arsenic, and I can't ever say it, Roundup. Glyphosate, sorry. And then so many other things. So water is, of course, to no one's surprise, the essence of life. I also believe that pouring our lives together through the symbolic act of water communion helps us to not only remember all of that, but then to, as the letter that I read to you by Gretchen, help us to think about turning our frustration and our anger and even our fear into something that we could use in energy to transform the future. Like, supporting regenerative agriculture by making sure that we conserve water where we can. Because even though people will often say, oh, well, it's okay because the water goes back in the ground. Well, yeah, but it takes millions of years to get down to the aquifer. And so conserving water is important. And as we continue this ceremony this morning, I would love for you to think about, especially during this reflection music, before we actually do the ceremony ritual, what kinds of things that you see in the future for us in the world of not just agriculture, but what we can do to preserve this actual, really pertinent and required natural resource for life. Because without water, that's it. And it's without clean water, and I won't go into, that's a whole other sermon for a different day about how many people around the world don't have access to clean water. Paul, if you're actually hearing this, you could tell us about that in Africa, how much of a struggle that is. And then as we pour our lives together through the symbolic act of water, may we continue to build our community of justice in the future, in this congregation. So we'll have some reflection music by the one and only amazing Suki. And then I'll invite you to come forward and either bring the water that you've brought or use the water up here. And then you can share a story about what's important, or you can just pour the water, or none of those. It's your move.
Somebody in line wants to say
Yeah,
one?
me or Todd.
Okay.
Todd, that was Todd.
Raise music down.
Todd.
More technical difficulties?
Go ahead, Todd.
Thanks, Suki. That was wonderful.
Indeed.
Yes.
So this is water collected from our rain barrels that I use to water our outdoor plants that we get from Kathy that helps support her music program. So it's musical water.
Nice.
Okay?
Yeah.
Need some water?
Please. This is water from our pool. We love swimming.
Yes. Pour all in.
Hmm?
Pour all in.
I don't know if we need to do all of it. Matters, go for it. Sure. October 16th is when our pool will be closed.
No.
Sad.
So come visit before then.
I don't know, it's not in great shape right now. It's so cold.
See, the water's cold, so we stopped cleaning it
Stop it.
hardcore. So you can swim in it. It's kind of like a lake right now.
Yeah.
Not quite that bad, but
Did Holly send a message? Oh, something popped up.
she was trying to do a joy of concern, but it was all messed up. So she's saving it for next time.
So that's for the rain that came finally, this year after 2 years of drought, I think. Filled up the water barrels. We didn't have to hardly water from the hose at all. So, and we got it without the flooding that so many other places.
Yeah. Right.
Here's water from our Horseshoe Lake where our cabin is on. I was gonna add some well water since the cabin is coming down, but didn't.
Didn't get
The
that
well
before I
was
did.
already shut off before I could pump the water.
And the well
So-
comes from the water table that comes from the lake, so
Yeah.
we're making water anyway, right?
So, unfortunately, when you were talking about sharing the water later, or whatever, I thought we all had to take a sip of this. I like pouring it in the wall.
That's a different religion.
That's why we got the pool water. It's all chlorinated and clean now. Yeah.
Years ago, one young couple shared water that was in honor
Symbolic.
of symbolic water in honor of potty training. So, I've talked about this before. You probably heard it, but growing up in Kansas, there wasn't a lot of lakes, and when we go to the lake, it was always a man-made reservoir. But I still remember and still have that feeling of excitement of driving through the plains and then through some trees, and then you could start to see the water in between the trees, and it's just like, oh yes, we're going to the lake. And I can feel that excitement when I remember that memory. What a joyful thing water is.
And this is tap water from my house right now. It always amazed me in this whole country, people just can drink from the tap. Because I come from China, even now people cannot just drink from the tap. So just so grateful because of the tap. I notice how much more water I drink on a daily basis. And also remind me why in Asian country we have a lot of noodle soup, that kind of dish, because that's the only time we can have water, clean water, and it's very save energy because normally you don't have enough actual energy to just have a clean water. So we just combine the meal and the water all together. That's why we eat noodle soup. That's the only chance we can just save energy and have access to clean water. So, yeah, so that's why tap water is very special to me.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I have to, again, be thankful and joyful for my wonderful lake. And I'll just add that I had a lovely, lovely visit with Greenie and Slimetta the other day. And it just continues to be one of the highlights of my life, swimming and playing with my fishes.
I didn't know this was communal water, but this is some hot water from the thingy over there. And this reminded me of water. I almost drowned a couple times. And luckily I had people who helped me. Anyway, so that's hotter too. And here I still am. I beat the water.
Well, this water is representing the water from Lake Superior and the gratitude I have for friends and family. We spent 5 days up in Grand Marais with dear friends, and we spent a week with our kids up in Duluth this summer, and it was just a wonderful time. And I also was thinking about just water in general, and I think one of the reasons I am drawn to doing stained glass art is because seeing the sun reflected on water just thrills me to no end, no matter how often I see it. And I think that kind of is represented in stained glass a lot of times, the light coming through the glass.
Could someone pour some water for me?
Sure.
I guess you could say this represents the Atlantic Ocean, as both my daughters live on the Atlantic. Fly anyway. One in the UK and one on Long Island. And so when I think of, I grew up on the Pacific Ocean, so the Atlantic Ocean is always a new adventure for me when I visit them. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure many of you know about the 1 foot of water that we got in Wasika in one day, which resulted in a very full pond, and I braved mosquitoes and ticks and snakes and all manner of creepy crawly things to get this water from our little pond. And so even though there was some destruction from that water, thankfully we didn't really have a lot of destruction because we have a good drainage system. A lot of it will be there. And this morning when I looked out there was a herd of 20 deer. At many, I think I counted 20, there's probably more because I didn't see all the fawns because the grass is too tall, all drinking from the pond. It was beautiful. And then I invite us to take just a moment of silence to think about this water. And once again, I'll give an invitation to anybody at the end after our postlude. to join us outside to pour the water into the ground. And as we come to the close of the service, I invite you to rise as you are able and join us in our closing hymn, which is number 301. And I'll play it through at once, more for my benefit than yours, because you probably know this hymn, but just to give myself a little practice here. We're all having technical difficulties.
Touch the earth, reach the sky, walk on shores where spirits fly, over the ocean, over the land, a great quest to understand. Touch the earth, reach the sky, children ask the reasons why. In our lives the answers show, and by our love they learn and grow. Touch the earth, reach the sky, all are born and all shall die. Life's the time left in between, to follow a star, to build a dream. Touch the earth, reach the sky, hug the laughter, feel the cry. May we see where we can give, for this is what it means to live. Touch the earth, reach the sky, so reach ever high. Spirits joining as we fly, to touch the earth, to reach the sky.
And so before we hear the postlude, I invite us to know that extra verses are always welcome. The eyes don't always work well. And then as we go forth, when we pour the water into the ground, I invite us to, again, to imagine a future where we work together as a community, as a nation, as a world, to help not only conserve water, but to try to do things, make decisions, make informed decisions when we're having to buy things that will help the future of our aquifers, our rivers, our lakes, our oceans, and every other body of water, including our own body of water. volunteer who carry the bowl for us.
Now here's something fun. Are there any Aquarius people here? Because that's the water bearer sign.
I'm Pisces.
Oh, that would work.
And for those who are on Zoom, if they stay on, we'll have a camera follow the water out.
Oh, nice.
Fancy.
If we can get to technical difficulties, let's say, follow the problem.
Anybody who wants to join us, follow us out.
Should I say-
It's just something fun. It's fine.
You can carry it.
Okay. I don't know how Virgo does.
Matthew's gonna swim in it.
With precision. With precision, that's how Virgo does it.
Yes.
It's not, though. It's an air sign.
Okay, well, I'll go this way.
Down there. Now we can hear you too. We're good.
Awesome. I invite you to, except for Chuck, I invite you to put your hands forward. And I would say, Holy Earth, please receive this water and purify it for future generations. As we work to heal you and we work together in justice for a better earth. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Are there three? Yes. I just want to ask that. I was going to bring more chocolate. I was going to bring chocolate. But they're all gone. Oh, oh, did you? I didn't get any yesterday. That's why
More boxes. Where's the box?
Right over here underneath the green bag. It's all camouflage, see?
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Have a great week.
Good week.
Chuck,
Yeah.
you mentioned there's some like Sunday evening singing in the central church last year. I think do they still do that? You remember? Sometimes you was
Yeah, I don't.
Yes.
I don't mind, I'm gonna be first.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't know.
I'll look it up, but and see if I can find something. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He said,
Do these look right now? Do you know the Saturdays?
There's 3 stacks, there's one there.
he still got the price station.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Here's an email out. There's one.
90 dresses.
All recommended, so I can just so you know that all except for the first and last are open. Yes. And all 7 I'll definitely be here for 12. And the last
Oh, my.
I will be here.
They got up on
I would invite her. Either
Time.
on, so, but all the other Sundays, I don't